Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. We're Tom and Melissa, and we appreciate you being here for our video. We are getting ready to cook dinner for tonight, and our main dish is going to be hot chicken salad casserole. Now this is a recipe that we have used for, well, I got it in 1987, so we've used it a long time, well over, right at, 30 some years. It's been a good recipe. So we're going to first talk about what we need to make this, and then we'll start putting it together. We're going to use 2 cups of cubed chicken. Now, all I did was boil the chicken for about 15 to 20 minutes. I used 2 chicken breasts, and I just boiled that for about 15 to 20 minutes until it was done, and then I'm let it cool completely, and now I'm going to cube it up. I've already done 1 chicken breast. I'm going to do the other one for you. We are going to use 1 onion, and it's just kind of a medium onion. It's not tiny, but it's not huge either. 2 ribs of celery, 1 can of water chestnuts that are sliced. Now, the original recipe, when I got it, did not say to chop these up. It just said put them in. But the big pieces are a little too big, I think, when you're trying to eat this dish. So I do just kind of chop them up. I don't dice them fine or anything. I just kind of run a knife through them and chop them up a little bit. We also are going to use 1/2 cup of sliced almonds. Now, if you want to use slivered almonds, that's fine. You can use those too. I prefer the sliced. We're also going to use 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. We're going to use a little bit of salt and pepper. Really, this is to taste. You don't have to use any. I will probably use about 1/2 teaspoon, maybe less than 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and maybe 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We're also going to use 1 cup of mayonnaise. You can use your favorite. I just happen to have a little bit of Duke's left in the refrigerator, and so I pretty much emptied that jar. And I do go a little bit light on the mayonnaise. I don't really fill the 1 cup completely full. As we know, mayonnaise is made of oil and egg yolks. And my experience has told me that if I get too much mayonnaise in this dish, when it bakes, that tends to separate and you get a little bit of an oily film on top. So I go just a little light on the mayonnaise, but close to 1 cup. All of those things I just showed you are going to be put together in a bowl and stirred together. So all of that just goes into 1 big bowl, and then we're going to put it in our baking dish. On top of that, we will sprinkle 1 cup of cheddar cheese. Melissa and I prefer mild, but if you prefer something else, then use whatever you like the best. If you like sharp, then use it, whatever. And we're going to crunch up some potato chips on top. There's really not an amount. I'm using an 8-ounce bag, but I probably will not use all of that. We will see. But you just put some on top. If you don't want a lot, just sprinkle a few on top. It's just for the crunch, more just for
the texture
of it, more than the taste. If you want to cover it in crunched up potato chips, cover it. It's not going to hurt. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to cut up our chicken, and I just like to cut it into thin slices and then cut those into cubes. So I'll take those slices, kind of stack those up, go down through them this way, and then just kind of cube it up. I do find that a serrated edge knife works much better when I'm doing chicken like this. And I will tell you that if you let your chicken cool completely, it cuts up so much easier, so much better. If you try to cut it while it's hot, it just kind of pulls it apart and makes a mess out of it. Now, the original recipe did call for shredded chicken, but I don't shred the chicken. I just don't care for it as much as cubed. I don't like the stringiness of shredded chicken. So I just cube mine up, but if you prefer it to be shredded, then You can shred yours. You do it the way you want. It's your dish. Okay, so our chicken is just about cubed. And you know, I can already tell with 2 chicken breasts, I'm going to end up with more than 2 cups. That's not going to hurt a thing. Use it. It won't hurt. It's just a little extra chicken. There's one I missed. Let me cube that up. And I am doing a fairly small cube. I don't want huge pieces in there that are hard to bite. Okay, so we're taking our 2 cups of chicken and put that in our bowl. And we're finished with that. Next, I think I'm going to do the celery. And I'll split my celery down the middle because we don't like huge chunks of celery in ours. And if it's a big piece like this, I might even slice down through it again, just so it's not so big. And really the onion and celery are the only things in this that need to cook. The chicken is already cooked. I boiled it. It's completely cooked and ready. The water chestnuts are ready to eat. So really the only thing that needs to kind of be cooked are the 2 celery ribs and the onion. So if you cut those up a little finer, then they will cook quicker. So I do a little bit smaller dice on those just to help them cook faster. I will tell you that I got this recipe in 1987 from a lady that we taught school with. Her name is Debbie. And we have made this so many times because it was easy for us to do. You know, when we had kids at home and we were running to soccer practice and basketball games and crazy things, just all over the place, church activities, this was something that I could put together pretty quickly and have on the table pretty fast. It only has to bake for 30 minutes at 350. So it's pretty quick to get together and put on the table. I just slice down through my onions and then slice across. And you know, onions are in layers. So when you slice them this way, they just kind of fall apart into smaller pieces. So it's pretty easy to dice them up. And now that I said that, of course, this is becoming more difficult to dice. Okay, we'll take that for the compost. How much onion do you want in this, babe?
I like onion.
Okay,
Probably not.
I'll put the whole thing in.
If you're not an onion fan, I guess just...
Yeah, put in what you like. This is kind of a medium-sized onion, so it's not a lot, but if you don't like a lot of onion, maybe just do half of it. If you're an onion fan, do the whole thing. Okay, so in this goes. And that's going to be quite a bit of onion. Now, oh, I forgot my water chestnuts. All right, hold your ears because I'm gonna get these out. Okay. And you really don't have to worry about cutting these up too much. I just kind of run a knife through them just so they're not so big, not such big chunks in the casserole. But
one behind in the can.
Is there one left? Oh, get out of there. And if you see any that are still pretty big, just go back and run your knife through them. Or put them in whole if that's how you want them. That's what the original recipe calls for. But we just found, especially with our kids, the whole pieces were just a little bit too big to manage on a fork. And you know, we never had a problem with our kids eating, did we, Melissa?
They were excellent eaters.
They were great eaters.
They still are.
Yes, they are.
They like a lot of variety.
I shouldn't say this maybe, but they kind of like more variety now than we do.
They're. I never would have thought that they would be more adventurous and to try, but they certainly are.
Yeah, they'll eat just about anything once. But now they like most things.
They do. They are.
And that's because of the way we raised them. You know, when they were babies and just starting to eat, we fed them everything. We know people whose kids won't eat anything but a chicken nugget and some macaroni and cheese. Well, we didn't offer that to our kids.
Not every night, no.
No.
But when you travel and you go to different places, food is such a big part of culture when you visit another place.
Absolutely. All right.
It's nice to try something new.
In go the sliced almonds. And I'll shake this. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. You think 1 tablespoon wouldn't do anything, but it really does. Kind of brightens it up. Gives it a nice flavor. Okay, I'm just trying to move everything out of my way as we go. Now, salt and pepper. This is where you're going to have to decide. I'm going to do just a scant ½ teaspoon of salt. Because I feel like chicken needs salt for the flavor. And I'm just going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Maybe just a hair more. But you can do what you want. If you don't want any, don't put any. If you want more than that, then you do that. Okay, and our last ingredient to be mixed in is our mayonnaise. All right, now let's just stir this all up. You know, this is called hot chicken salad casserole. And I was thinking about it one time years ago. Thought, why do they call it hot chicken salad casserole? You're baking, it's not like chicken salad. But you know, it really is. It's got chicken, onions, celery, water chestnuts, pretty much everything that we put in our chicken salad, except we're going to bake it. It even has mayonnaise, and we put mayonnaise in our chicken salad. So, it kind of is. Now, I have sprayed my pan. Get that off the counter. I have sprayed my pan, so it shouldn't stick. I've got I don't know what size this pan is. This was a nice gift from one of our subscribers. But it's a small casserole. It's not quite a 9x13. But you could easily do this in an 8x8 baking dish if you wanted. Easily do it in an 8x8. It would easily fit. You probably don't need a 9x13. It would just be too thin. But an 8x8, 9x9 would work perfectly. Or a smaller casserole dish like this. Okay, let's get it all off there. Don't want to leave that chicken or those onions on there. All right, let me wash my finger. All right, now we're just going to sprinkle our cheese over the top. We don't need a really thick layer. You just want some to melt over the top of it. Get some in the corners, along the edge. Okay. And now, I might as well just tell you, my favorite part, I like the potato chips on top. You cannot crunch up potato chips in a bag that's closed. There's too much air. You can't squeeze it to crunch them up. If you open the whole top, you may spill some. So here's what I do. I just go to the corner and barely open it. You see how much I opened there? You can see it's just a little piece. Just enough to let the air out. And then I just crunch them. You don't have to pulverize them. You don't want them to be powder. So just crunch them up, just a few squeezes, and then sprinkle some on top. Now, you certainly do not have to put a ton on there.
You ever tried this with barbecue?
Barbecue chips? Now you say that.
I know, it just kind of came to me. I don't think we ever have.
No, we haven't. But I bet I do the next time. Ooh, that might be really good. Okay. Well, now we're going to have this again. Because I've got to try it with that. Why have you never said that before?
I don't know, it just kind of came to me. Sorry.
I think that sounds really good. Okay. I probably used half of them or a little more. Now, this goes in a 350-degree preheated oven for 30 minutes. That's it. While that's baking, and all we really have to do is just kind of heat up the mayonnaise and cook the onions and celery. While that's baking, I'll heat a couple of side items, maybe some peas and carrots or something to put with it. And we'll have dinner. How simple is that? All right, we're going into the oven, 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and let you see what it looks like. We'll be right back. Our hot chicken salad casserole baked for 30 minutes, and we just took it out. In fact, you might be able to hear it still sizzling. So it is hot, but I am going to try to sample a bite of it. Now, normally I would wait a few minutes and let it cool before I ate it, but Melissa and I are having this for dinner, and we need to eat. So, here it is. I'm gonna, ooh, that cheese is stringy. Ooh, that looks good. But I am gonna have to blow on it. Can you see the steam coming off of it? It is hot. Do you want the first bite?
Oh, wait. I'm going to have some dinner, but again, burning the roof of my mouth. Not fun.
Wow.
You can hear the crunchiness.
Can you hear it? I love the crunch of the potato chips, but also of the water chestnuts. It's really good. And the almonds. They have a little bit of a crunch to them. And that is just good comfort food. And you saw how easy that was to throw together. I'm hungry. And I'm ready for dinner.
You were going to talk about your cutting board.
Two things I want to tell you that I should have mentioned earlier. First, I almost always put a wet tea towel under my cutting board so it doesn't slide around while I'm cutting. I forgot this time. I forgot in another video a few weeks ago. And I hated to stop in the middle of the video and say, okay, we have to stop here while I get a wet tea towel. But I should have done that. If you will just take a tea towel or a dishcloth and wet it and wring it out so that it's just damp, not dripping wet, just damp, and put that on your counter and put your cutting board on top of it, it won't slide while you're cutting. And I should have stopped the video and done that just to show you the safe way to do it. But I didn't. I thought about it while I was cutting the celery and the onion, but I hated to stop. But please do that just for safety reasons. The second thing that I should have mentioned was that you cannot use salad dressing in place of the mayonnaise. If you use something like Miracle Whip, it will not hold up to the heat of the oven, and it's not going to be pleasant. So you want to make sure you are using mayonnaise. Now, you can use any brand of mayonnaise. You can use Duke's or Hellman's or any of them. Any of the mayonnaises will work. So I just wanted to make sure I told you those two things. We would appreciate if you'd go below the video and hit the like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, remember that right under the video, you'll see the title of this recipe. If you'll click that title or in that box where the title is, that box will expand. Melissa always puts the written recipe there for you, so you'll have it written out, and our contact information is under that recipe. All right, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate your support. Leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. Melissa tries to answer as many of those as she can. It's become almost impossible to answer them all, but we do love hearing from you. Remember, you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.